Namaskaram. This audio is all about the darker sides of women-men equality and whether this equality itself impacting in delayed bride marriages in India. So it's a very common topic, but a practical topic I wanted to take today. So today we see a lot of unmarried young ladies in the middle age groups of even say 25 to 35, 26 to 36 like that, are living with a significant sense of pride in the public arena. So no one disliked them. So their marriage neither structures a subject of talk nor is any grimacing eye foreheaded raised upon their interesting and cheerful way of life. In one as of late held overview, dominant part of the city young ladies are not in a rush of wedding. They need to deck up their vocation, their professions. Regardless, the folks do stress for their relational unions, that is marriages. Yet, these young ladies are neither stressing over the score of their relational unions, nor are they feeling any feeling of blame about it. So they are making the most of their virginity to the grips. So they need to contemplate over each part of wedded life before venturing into the shelter of marriage. For them, the main point of the womanhood doesn't at all is the culmination into relational unions. Terming relational unions as nothing but marriages. Guardians also conceivably have turned out to be consenting to the standpoint of their knowledgeable watch. Furthermore, gradually, yet relentlessly, the general public also started tolerating the standard recently relational unions. So what could be the general reasons of these kind of late marriages happening in India? So as per the social researchers, if consideration towards the standpoint of the young ladies is paid, there are a few reasons which could be represented of their postponed relational unions. One such reason would be education, because the main reason is the young ladies being accomplished. Instruction not just has loaned a difference in a huge extent in the standpoints of young ladies, yet in the attitude of the general public too. Another reason could be like self-reliance. So education has realized intensive in transformation in the point of view of the young ladies. Their certainty has helped up immensely feeding the fire in them to act naturally needy. Another one could be economic freedom. So this has prepared of the young ladies autonomous fiscally. So they feel it more critical to concentrate on their profession first than on their relational unions or marriages. Okay. A few young ladies are also supporting their family monetarily. This is a very, very practical reason nowadays. One cannot deny this fact also, but it is also a good thing which is happening now. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. So in such a hurricane of a condition, thought of marriage doesn't streak as a primary concern. Another reason could be why they delay marriages, mismatch between the relational unions. So the confused relational unions solemnized in family and society have likewise assumed a more prominent job in changing their standpoint in the matter of their relational unions. So they believe it's smarter to be late in marriage to locate an appropriate match with whom to carry on with a quality life than arriving in a hot soup in a rush. And we see a lot of breaking up of connections nowadays. Today's age, so doesn't have faith in the old announcement, Ati Vivaham. Okay. The consistently blazing feature news of separations also has constrained them to give a hesitation to this issue. Another reason could be nuclear family. So in little families where girls are single in number, they would prefer not to take the choice of wedding too soon on their age. Rather, their inquiry are centered around such an actual existence accomplice who could see well their obligations to their folks. Another reason could be fear of responsibility. This is a very, very important thing. Young girls, now they're afraid of marriage because something like a fear or a phobia of responsibility. So young age fears duty and modest, far from any sort of official. So they have estimations of their own. They're loving of their own. Thus don't wish to rush up the matter of marriage. Normal labor in more established ages too. So it was some time ago said that the young ladies ought to consider inside the ages of 25 to 30. So the youngster conceived a sound. Strange labors were viewed as a high probability if there should arise an occurrence of more established young ladies. So along these lines, marriage on the ideal time was viewed as consecrated. So this issue has vanished after the advancement made into the field of the restorative science, call it as. Another reason is definitely Western impacts are one explanation behind late relational unions. The universe of television and web so has turned the way of life of the whole nations of the world in one single shading. So recently we have begun on trading societies also. Marriage is currently not related with age. So relational unions are currently being solemnized. Okay, in the ages of 35 to 40, even say 45 to 50 years, moreover, happening around. So friendships of the young men and young ladies, that's also one of the reasons. So today we see passionate help is being gotten in the youthful ages itself for what the existence accomplice previously used to be the assistance to the feelings are currently there the young lady companions and bios. It's a search of a perfect life accomplice. So maturity in young ladies have upgraded up in abundance. Enthusiastic sentiments like renounce, they say renounce and forfeit are more abnormal to them. She needs such a sidekick who could complement them, ought to have cash, position, control, or more all candidly steady too. There are also other reasons also for this kind of late marriages happening. So aside from these reasons, there could be some close to home reasons too for the late relational unions. So then again, so viewpoint of guardians also have changed concerning models. When a mother couldn't have satisfied her aspirations of life, she needs her little girl to satisfy it, for which they bolster their girls completely. Today's folks have full certainty over their youngsters, and weight from their side on kids is nearly non-existent. Guardians urge youngsters in the matter of studies. Guardians never talk about the matter of the marriage of little girl until the point that they finish their instruction completely. So during family works, so questions arising like when the marriage will be held are no more asked now. So this inquiry has been supplanted with what's going on. So instead of when the marriage will be held, people are asking like what's going on with your little girl. So parents feel glad to the discussion of the accomplishments and achievements accomplished by little girls. So from this, the girls too feel empowered and strong on their frame of mind as well as changes. So today's folks don't consider it fit to stoop low in the public eye for the joy of the little girls. For them, the satisfaction of the little girls rules. In any case, they surely do stress and wish that their little girls get a reasonable match as long as they're alive in light of the fact that who else will bolster the little girls after they are no more there to help? It's a very important question. So in what capacity will she live alone in her seniority? So however, these sorts of stresses are wrapped underneath the cover before the bliss of the little girls. So they leave ultimate conclusion about marriage to be taken by the little girls. So the act of taking endowment has for some time been proclaimed a criminal offense. But however, it hints at no decreasing, with the ladies' side proceeding to give it as money, gold, extravagance, autos, flats, etc. to the anxious family. So for what reason is this? I have ended up pondering. Is there any financial aspects behind it? A settlement like a short-age lease? Does the relative haggling position of ladies versus men influence a lady's capacity to locate her favored match? So is marriage extremely a market? It's the biggest question mark. While a generously compensated male specialist may have no hesitations about wedding a non-working lady, a to-be lady of the heart will once in a while pick a man who gains not as much as her. So we see in India's hypergamous society, we call it as, normally our society is like, hypergamous in the sense that we normally in Indians practice of marrying a spouse of higher caste or social status than themselves. That is, we call it as hypergamous society. So wherein what happens, when orchestrated relational unions remain the inclination, the regular lady tries to wed a man who is higher than her in financial status. For instance, if a young lady is a designer for one of the IITs or NITs or A school, B school management graduates, so maybe determined to match with a man who has a degree from one of the, even say, IITs, or something unique, reasonably lofty, and procures more than her. So in this manner, her decisions would be something like the accompanying. The thought would be like, okay, why not we marry a tech from an IIT or an kind of an A school or B school, a decent sort of management graduates. So in both the cases, the prep ought to acquire more than the lady of the heart. So numerous individuals surmise that. So with better access to instruction, ladies will begin working and be engaged. that they induce will enhance ladies' status, and the act of share will kick the bucket, a characteristic's demise. So notwithstanding, that is not what is by all accounts occurring. So positively, we are seeing some corrective changes in how the trade is completed. However, the center of the issue is the equivalent. So today, extraction in any kind has by and large supplanted chili, hard money, and the settlement researchers are less glaring in the request, regularly receiving a facade of political rightness. So they will state things like, okay, we are instructed so we don't put stock in taking endowment for our child. So however, you can give your girl whatever you need. Who are we to protest? Else we are all right in the event that you send your little girl in only one arrangement of apparel. Yet the heaviness of desires is the glaring issue at hand. So the ladies' folks can find some hidden meaning. They know exceptionally well that if the little girl is sent without money, gold, or vehicle, contingent on their financial condition, the in-laws will torment the girl somehow or another or the other, regardless of whether it's just through acidic comments, plus a lion's share of such guardians additionally have comparative desires when it's a great opportunity to wed their own children, so it's everything not bad, but at the same time not enough to blow anyone's mind for them. So ladies have a moderately little pool of qualified matches that is contrasted with men. To look over India's marital market. So what's more, obviously, what additionally doesn't require unequivocal spelling out is that the lady of the horse family will pay for the wedding, which because of the impact of Bollywood is generally a luxurious issue, including architect dress, plentiful measures of adornments, and to finish everything off, a special first night abroad for the new couple. So law or no law, a great many people, rich or poor, do trust that taking or giving settlement is typical. So this has turned out to be so normal desire that even government officials have begun promising a base amount of gold for ladies to charm ladies' voters. So along these lines, back to my unique inquiry, is there any financial aspects behind the proceedings with the routine with regards to settlement? With more young ladies than any other time in recent memory presently instructed and working, so there is a developing interest for accomplished and generously compensated young men who meet all the vital parameters of training, salary, and status. So while a profoundly instructed and generously compensated male architect may have no apprehensions about wedding an educator or a non-working lady, a to-be lady will infrequently pick a man who is not as qualified as her or who procures not as much as her. So to sum it up, ladies have a general little pooler of qualified matches, so contrasted with men to browse in India's marital market. So standing, people group, dialect, area and sustenance propensities likewise become possibly the most important factor. So while these variables influence the preparer's choice too, so they will in general issue more to the lady of the horse side. So for example, a kid might be permitted to wed outside his station if the lady is appropriate in different ways. Yet his sister might not have a similar opportunity. Okay. Practically we can see this. So this further tilts the interest condition for men. So henceforth, grooms or their families have generally better haggling forces. So thus they expect some sort of premium or shortage lease, regardless of whether they don't request it straightforwardly. So this premium may take unique and fluctuated shapes: an unreasonable liberal advance, a real estate parcel, a vehicle, or even an extremely delightful lady of the hour for a not exactly average looking man. So anyway, what occurs if the lady's family is not prepared to pay the premium? Accomplished and generously compensated ladies don't see themselves as subpar compared to knowledgeable and generously compensated men, and as it should be. So imagine a scenario in which they decline to engage any recommendation of share, expressed, or suggested. So the framework is fixed. So the ladies who advocate for themselves along with these lines regularly wind up holding up longer to get hitch. So others wind up bringing down the guidelines or now and again surrender the possibility of marriage inside and out. So numerous ladies nowadays additionally defer marriage to propel their vocation or occupation. So that further puts them off guard, as ladies over 30 are not favored for marriage on the grounds that there is a recognition that they will be bound to endure difficulties in pregnancy. So it plays into the ordinary Indian hazard shirking disposition. Why take a risk? So the age factor likewise neutralizes ladies' enthusiasm by dissolving their haggling power in India's heartless marital market. Sorry to use this word. So grooms or their families have moderately better dealing forces. Thus they expect some sort of premium or shortage lease. So to manage this, a few ladies or their folks do lie about age and also composition and tallness, like in marital advertisements, saying that they are more youthful, more attractive and taller than they really are. That is 30 rather than 34, 5 feet 4 inches in height rather than 5 feet 2 inches, and smooth white rather than wheatish in composition. So in any case, it's difficult to pull off this sort of skillful deception in the period of Facebook, Google, or any blah blah. Okay. So at last, goal-oriented ladies, by seeking after professions and bettering their vocation, prospects may hurt their haggling power while looking for a wedding partnership. So while I positively don't think this is the way it ought to be, but it's the truth today. So at the point when the marriage of young ladies got postponed and they needed to remain at home doing nothing, the guardians asked why the little girls ought not contemplate, go to work and begin procuring. So the cash would likewise prove to be useful when the young ladies were to be hitched. So accordingly began the act of ladies going to work and going to the previous ages. So at first the guardians felt a little humiliation or a feeling of disgrace about accomplishing something they thought to be ill-advised, that is, relying upon the girl's very own income for her marriage costs. They were likewise stressed and frightful over the young ladies being presented to different dangers and allurements. In any case, at the appointed time, this stress and dread vanished. Additionally, the guardians came to imagine that there was no compelling reason to feel ungainly about their girls going to work. Even we can see in our Hindu Puranas, even imperial sages like Janaka were stressed that the girls remained at home without being hitched. So they felt so uneasy as though they were conveying fire inside them. At first, we felt timid that our ladies went to work. Be that as it may, eventually we figured out how to acknowledge it. Presently, we accept it as a development, a stage forward in our human progress. Guardians have tossed all awareness of others' expectations to the breezes and are not stressed at all over the girls going out to work, and without a doubt, they take pride in it. So our Hindu Dharma has sunk to such low profundities. Working young ladies come to me, favors for advancement in their office. Okay. A scenario. Turning a visually impaired eye to everything seeing and not seeing. I have earned the name of being a decent Swamy. Okay. So, the ladies are accepting advanced education and are working is an incredible advance forward, declare the reformists. So, an extraordinary foul play done to them in the past has been fixed. They include. My very own view is that no foul play was ever done to ladies before, and I would go to the degree of saying that if at all any unfairness was done, it was to men, not to women. You might be definitely diverted by this comment. So, just give me a second to clarify, a chance to clarify for this. Say, a male, after his understudy, bachelorhood, graduates to the phase of the householder, he has now to perform numerous obligations and ceremonies like upasana and various different samskaras with a definitive protest. I'm talking about the Brahmin community in specific. Okay, so with a definitive protest of discovering discharge from common presence. A lady accomplishes a similar objective by devoting herself to her better half. And to do as such is to go past all the samskaras performed by a man. So in spite of the fact that reformists figure this to be a bad form done to ladies, to me it creates the impression that the Shastras support ladies more than they do men. So I disclose to you why. How does a man acknowledge himself? He needs to perform numerous religious works. He needs to take in the truth and feel it deep down through nidhyasana. So, along all these lines alone, does he delete his psyche? A pativrata does not need such troublesome sadhana, so such vigorous and serious practice to achieve a similar objective, and she should simply to surrender to her better half. By regarding the desires of her significant other, such as spouse demolishes her own very desires, as well as all sentiments of respect and shame, and all self-image sense. Along these lines, she verges on stilling her brain. So at the point when the psyche is completely committed to someone else in a disposition of surrender, would it be a good idea for it not to be near being scratched out? Is there any advancement for a lady higher than this? So a lady lifted up by internal virtue involves a situation far higher than another who wins an advancement in an office. So this is what number of a lady, the historical backdrop of this land, one parse far more prominent than those earned even with the sages. As per our Thiruvalluvar, if such a lady says, "Let there be rain," it will rain, it must rain. On the off chance that she says to the sun, "Don't rise," it won't rise. Such a lady can recover her better half from Yama. Our Shastras, our conventions, give these ladies a place more lifted than that conquered any vice or god. So we see from Puranas that a lady of elevated character can change even divine beings into little kids by sprinkling water on them. So our religious writings talk about how a lady may ascend with genuine statures of magnificence and how she is cherished in a sanctuary and adored. So they never sentence her to a second-rate position. I can't help thinking that the reformists do as such by keeping her from ascending to the statures of greatness. So in the event that marriage is one of the numerous samskaras to render a man unadulterated, for a lady it is a single samskara that gives her a definitive product of all samskaras. So presently, the quintessence of the samskara is thrown away, and what remains, the cannot, is killed. So marriage and the householder's phase of life are not implied for lustful delight alone. They comprise a way for freedom. So the event that this reality is comprehended, individuals will welcome the job allocated to ladies by the Shastras is simply unlegitimate. So maybe a couple appear to have understood the unfortunate monetary results of ladies going to work. I'm alluding to the joblessness issue. So until a few years back, guardians had this reason for the little girls going to work. Let her work till she gets hitched, else she should remain at home, agonizing over things and being sad for herself. Going to work will be a method for investing energy. Moreover, the young lady's profit will prove to be useful for the endowment and different costs of marriage. The thought at that point was to give the little girl a chance to work until her marriage, and after that request that her leave her activity. So the prepare and a skin thought it disparaging for the lady of the heart to work after the marriage. So this mentality changed not after a short time. How? So amid the previous one century or somewhere in the vicinity, the Brahmin people group has built up an expanding hunger for cash, inferable from this ravenousness that developed with the years. Young ladies going to work even after their marriage turned into an all the more broadly acknowledged practice. The outcome is that so the respectable obligations of parenthood like kid care are dismissed. It is equivalent to in Western nations, and there is no glow and truthfulness overseeing connections including guardians and youngsters and other relatives. So on the financial front too, the wonder of an ever-increasing number of ladies working has had a bothersome outcome. So nowadays many young fellows are jobless. In the meantime, in a few families, both a couple work and win. Even the spouse alone worked, the wife's employment would go to a young fellow who is without work. Shockingly, spouses never again take pride in thinking about the wife and family with their profit alone. They need the wife additionally to procure. So at first, the guardians are hesitant to send their little girls to work. So at that point, the spouse did likewise, maybe indifferently. So with respect to the spouse, she is presently glad to work. Truth be told, she is so used to working outside that she doesn't care for being limited to her home. When she gains individually, she needs to spend as she prefers without being addressed by her significant other. So to remain at home doesn't intend to be secured. There is no deficiency of Shastras and Puranas in Sanskrit and in different dialects. So on the off chance that ladies build up a desire for them, they will continue understanding them for an entire lifetime and discover bliss. They may frame satsangam gatherings and read such books by turns at home. There is no compelling reason to frame a club or some other association nor any board. The satsangam might be held at home with no office bearers like president, secretary, board of trustees, individuals, etc. So I propose this to keep away from challenges and competition for positions. Ladies may likewise keep themselves involved in making unadulterated from turmeric, the unadulterated kumkumam, that is from turmeric, and in gathering whole rice grains for use in mathas, sanctuaries, and different religious foundations. So to remain at home doesn't mean being confined in while doing such work. In addition, ladies won't lose their most valuable ownership, femininity. So work referenced above will be a method for the opportunity of their self and for rapture. For ladies, unquestionably, this is much better than going to work out of covetousness and losing their femininity simultaneously. Not to talk about gaining the higher reward of Atmic prosperity. So it is additionally with regards to a lady's nature. So for a lady to work in an office on the appearance that she is generally kept to the four dividers of her house is the reason for such a large number of issues, such a significant number of shades of malice. Despite the fact that there is much discuss ladies' freedom, what we really observe is that they need to work under such huge numbers of individuals and have to be liable to such a large number of them. So is there harmony in such a real existence? In the freedom that is such a great amount of disgust, is there the euphoria of household life? Are working ladies ready to cook at recreation, eat and appreciate the glow and friendship of kids? What reason for existing is served by all such talk? Each man thinks about his own very egotistical advantages and is minimum made a fuss for others. Individuals never respite to ponder whether others endure for them. There is no inclination for other people, no feeling of equity. In a few families, there is twofold pay on the grounds that both the couple acquire, while in some others, even one part makes not have a showing with regards to thus no pay. It is a pitiful state. So on the off chance that ladies choose not to work after their marriage, it is conceivable that the opportunities therefore made will be filled by the jobless men. Families with no methods so far will at that point advantage. So working ladies must consider this, and the individuals who endeavor to bring fairness among people and should think about the rationale behind my perceptions. So these days, individuals don't realize where to apply the guideline of fairness and where not to. Every element or part of life has its own particular manner of being, its very own character. That's the way life known to mankind is appointed. It is not right to find that there must be a similarity about everything, that everything must be equivalent. So to demand such equivalence and correspondence is to wreck the regular request of life. Every discover its satisfaction and genuine joy in being identified with another as planned ordinarily and in advancing the basic public activity. To seek after self-assertive sort of uniformity, rather than this implies not just the forswearing of bliss on the individual dimension, however, imperiling family and public activity. So, to summarize, nature has dolled out the activity of type marrying to ladies. Anyway, much we battle for fairness, we can't change this unavoidable truth. It is a regular dharma of ladies to think about youngsters and to be Grahalakshmis. They don't lose anything costly, nor do they end up better in any sense by declining than to do it. So uniformity in such issues has no significance. So I have presented this darker sides of equality. Definitely has an impact. Definitely does impact. Okay, delay of bride marriages, especially in India, and especially more and more in the upper caste. Even say Brahmin community also nowadays. So that is a worrying factor. So only young girls, definitely, I hope they will take this particular audio in the right spirit and remove their darkness and come to light and marry in early age. That's my humble request. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu, sarvam Shri Krishnarpamastu. Narayana Narayana.